Whenever you listen to a podcast, you need to be sure that the podcast you choose is suitable for the audience at home. To help you, there are certificates given to podcasts to let you know what the podcast is like. You Know It has been certified as 18. An 18-rated podcast will certainly have an adult theme and may well contain sex or violence, which could be quite graphic. It may also contain some very explicit language, which will frequently mean sexual swear words. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the podcast.
Hello and welcome to You Know It, our brand new podcast where we go through the 1990s month by month, starting in January of 1990. I'm Durs and I'm here with Nick.
Hello. I was going to think of an intro to do that. The only thing for saying hello was "What's up?" but that was late 90s, wasn't it? So we'd have to make our way through to that. What's up? Like that.
You could do it right now.
What's up? But I don't know. It sounded really bad.
I mean, that sounded like something.
I'm never going to do that again.
Okay. All right. Nick promises to never do that again. So we're going through month by month through the years of the 1990s and starting with January of 1990. And if you lived through the 90s like we did, you can get some nostalgia from this. If you didn't live through the 90s and you're worried that, maybe you're not going to really understand, maybe you were born in the 2000s and you're like, God, I don't really understand any of this 90s stuff. See if this sounds familiar. Tory government and loads of strikes. So I don't think you're going to feel, out of place. You'll feel completely at home.
Yeah.
January 1990, Thatcher's in charge, and we have our fourth or fifth week now of ambulance strikes. So nothing changes.
We hate the Tories. We do.
Well, they certainly did then.
She looks. You're currently looking at the picture we were looking at. She looks very stern.
She does. She was very stern. But let's not bring it down with politics too much. I was just setting the scene. Just setting the scene. It was a shit show.
It was. We lived through it. we
did.
got there.
I was like 5, but
I was 12.
I was
Our parents got through it. We'll go with that.
We did. We did indeed. So where do you want to start? What do you want to start with?
Well, I've got the charts.
You're starting with music?
Yeah.
Oh, we can start with music.
I've got the what was number ones? Basically, the number ones were the number one throughout January.
Okay.
So I've got there's some awful music here, mind.
There is. I've got a list.
Right. Coming from last year into this year,
yep.
Which was number one to about the 6th of January, was Band-Aid 2.
Do They Know It's Christmas?
Yeah, which I think is the worst Band-Aid song.
It probably, of the Band-Aid songs, it probably is the worst. But it is iconic, I guess. Just due to my age, I think is iconic.
It's like the first one where you had all these massive people, but in this one you got Sonia and Jason Donovan and all those
Jason
people.
will be coming up again soon.
He will, wouldn't he? Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It is the lesser of the Band-Aids for sure.
Not very good. You also had a very mighty band of New Kids on the Block. They were around for a while with Hangin' Tough.
Hangin' Tough.
I actually remember that song.
I actually have them down as number one at the start of the month.
Yeah.
But they're going to get fucked off by Kylie Minogue by the end. So.
Kylie Minogue with Tears on My Pillow.
Tears on My Pillow.
Smashing right back out there.
Yeah, it's funny because at the start of the month we've got Jason. He's in at number 2.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the month, Kylie's taken over. Girlfriend's she's beating you, buddy.
I know. They were just good neighbours at that time, weren't they?
I don't know what they were. No, that was past neighbours, right?
Was it?
90s? I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe. Could be.
We've done so much research.
They could have been flirting. You never know.
You might be right.
Also, at the end of the month as well, Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You.
I know, right?
Synced in. But I quickly checked this out. She entered the chart at number 30 the first week, which used to be a top 40, which is not very big, is it? Then straight to number 3, then straight to number 1.
Yeah.
Ends up being one of the biggest selling songs of all time.
Yeah. It's huge song and an awesome song as well.
Written by Prince. So
it's one of those car songs that your parents always put on in the car, But yeah, iconic song. Yeah.
So it's kind of banger. I found a list of other songs that were in the charts around the same sort of times as well. Just if you remember any of these. One of them, I recognised the song, then I realised who the band was. I was like, I kind of know that song, but it's one of the bands I hate.
Okay.
Which you'll know when I say it out loud. But we've got, I don't hate this one, by the way, De La Soul, Free is a Magic Number. Remember that?
I do indeed.
Do you remember the Lambada? It was a forbidden dance. It was like they tried to ban it.
I remember. Do you know? I remember vaguely some dance being banned.
I think you used to interlock your knees, and they thought it was quite sexual at the time.
Right.
Some Brazilian dance, and I remember like watching it on TV and stuff. I had a quick listen to it this morning. Awful song.
Bring back bad memories.
Oh, I can never do that dance. Also hanging around the charts and refusing to go away was Donald's Where's Your Trousers.
Yep.
Never Going Away. Andy Stewart. I listened to that earlier as well.
Nice.
Didn't hold the test of time, unfortunately.
No, I think a lot of these lesser chart numbers do not hold the test of time.
Jive Bunny with Let's Party.
Yeah. We have Soul to Soul, Get a Life.
Yeah. I like Soul to Soul.
Yeah.
And this one, I didn't realise it was this band, and you know I hate this band, but Megadeth, No More Mr. Nice Guy. I didn't realise that was Megadeth.
Were they charting? Yeah. Were they
charted? Yeah.
Wow. In the UK or US?
In the UK.
Wow. Okay. Well, there we go. I only did the top 10.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck everyone else.
I was having a quick look around trying to find stuff I remember. There's the stuff I didn't. Skid Row, 18 in Life. That obviously was hanging around from 89, I expect.
Yeah, there is a lot because we're in January of 1990. Like we didn't like flip a switch and suddenly everything's 90s.
Brand new.
It's very 80s, and obviously we've just had 89, and we'll get into that with toys as well because it's all Christmas.
Yeah.
You know. The
epic Phil Collins. I wish it would rain down on me.
Oh, again, iconic.
Yeah, and another one as well, which I remembered. Birdhouse in Your Soul by They Make Big Giants.
Nice.
It's a nice little song. Have you got any other singles you can think of on there?
I've got just a big old list. Sonia, Listen to Your Heart.
I remember that.
49ers, Touch Me.
I don't know. When I saw the song come up, because I was looking as well, I thought it was Touch Me by Samantha Fox, but that was like 80s. And probably a better track as well.
I need to be careful how I say this one. Jimmy Somerville, You Make Me Feel.
You Make Me Feel. That one, yeah. I think
that's the one.
So cover?
Quite possibly. Kylie Minogue, Tears on My Pillow is a cover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking that earlier on. I was trying to send myself back to that era. But,
bad clothes, bad hair.
Yeah, still very much 80s style. But yeah, so that was our music charts for January, and we'll see how that pans out through the year.
I found a couple of albums as well.
Oh, go for it.
Not many number one albums in January. Phil Collins on a hangover from the year before, But Seriously, which is a good album.
That is one of his most solid albums, for sure.
Yeah, I saw it on vinyl in a charity shop the other day for like £1.50. I was like, should I buy it? And then I realised I've not got a vinyl player.
I can't play it, but I look at it.
I just be staring at Phil Collins, which is a good thing. And the first new number one of the year, The Christians. I vaguely remember them with an album called Colour.
I don't think I even know who they are.
If we Google them in a bit, we'll recognise the track.
I'll look them up after the show.
But like then bands hanging around in the charts, there's some massive names here. Apart from Jive Bunny, because they were still in the charts. I think I got that album for Christmas. Pretty sure.
Fantastic. Christmas of '89.
Yeah, in a cassette.
Brilliant.
In a cassette. Kylie had an album out. Jason had an album out.
They were competing. There was like some healthy competition in that relationship back in 1990.
Lisa Stansfield, she could sing.
She could.
Tina Turner had an album out.
Fabulous.
Rod Stewart.
I don't know why I laughed at Rod Stewart. I don't know why.
I don't. You laugh at the next one. Wet, wet, wet.
Oh.
Or as I typed on here because it's done a typo. Wet, wet, wort.
Wet, wet, wort.
Could have been a cover band or something. I don't know. And the only relatively new album I could find out was by Guar.
Guar.
I don't think anyone's going to remember Guar. I remember Guar.
Some people might. I remember Guar.
I remember like from Beavis and Butthead, and that's the first time I saw Guar.
I remember seeing them at the Beer Keller years and years ago, back in the day.
Full outfits.
Mm-hmm.
That's me music-wise. Actually, you can think of anything else you got there?
No, that is me done for music right there. But obviously, we'll come to it as we go through the year. I've seen there are some pretty big hitters later in 1990, so later months will
some massive selling tracks. So of all those there, would you say there's anything you would have played at Danger Zone?
At
our former club night.
Our formal club night. Well, certainly, I think
Phil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Phil is a definite. Maybe. I mean, I'd love to have played Sinead O'Connor, but I just don't think we would have got away with it. It's too slow.
Yeah.
But it's certainly an iconic song. So. But yeah, I mean, you did the 90s night. What would you have played?
Oh God. Off my list.
Yeah.
To be honest,
New Kids on the Block. come on.
Nuke is on the bucket a push. Freezer Magic number.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely there. Never much call for Kylie when we were doing a 90s night. I don't know why.
It's interesting that. You would have thought.
Yeah. She should have some bangers. So I don't know if she was more 80s bangers or when she came back in the 2000s. Looking there, Skid Row, you'd have done Skid Row as well.
Definitely would have done Skid Row.
And Megadeth, would you have done Megadeth? No more Slice Guy?
Not for Danger Zone. That was like cheesy rock metal.
Yeah.
But not really metal, rock. So probably not. But other nights, certainly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a good start to 1990 with the music. Let's move on. Let's move on to some TV. As we start the year with Mr. Bean.
I don't like Mr. Bean.
I don't know if Mr. Bean could even exist today. It feels really weirdly offensive.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Like, I just feel like it's making fun of someone that clearly has issues.
Yeah.
And it just comes across really offensive. I always remember, though, the first... I mean, you've seen Mr. Bean, right? You don't like it, but you've seen it. The first episode of Mr. Bean is really weird because he's quite different. Like, he talks a lot in it, and like I think it's the one when he does the test. Doesn't he do he's doing like a test and he's cheating off someone, if I remember rightly. I think that's the first one. It might be a driving test or something, like practical. He's trying to copy off someone. And it's really weird because he talks an awful lot and he seems a lot more intelligent, and then later on he just becomes this like weird stupid character almost immediately. But it is I don't think you could get away with Mr. Bean now. Rowan Atkinson is an actor I am massive fan of, but Mr. Bean is that one I've never quite gelled with like a lot of people did.
Have you heard that theory about Mr. Bean though, that he's actually an alien? Because I think at the start of the series he appears under a spotlight and just drops to the floor, and at the end of it
I can kind of
he disappears at the end. So there's Sarah saying, Mr. Bean was an alien. I think it's just someone's just like made that up, but sounds like it could work.
It would be less offensive if he was an alien. I don't know. Is it offensive? Let us know if you think Mr. Bean's offensive. To me, it feels kind of offensive.
I was talking to someone in work the other day. So we're doing a podcast. So we're going to talk about Mr. Bean, and he said, I remember watching it with my girlfriend's parents. They're very posh, Cambridge educated, and they sort of analysed Mr. Bean and said how brilliant it was, and he was just like being like Buster Keaton and of the old silent movie stars. I'm thinking,
well, that's true. There is a lot of slapstick and a lot of that visual humor, which is good. I get that, and there were bits I remember. I always used to love him upstaging the freewheeler guy, in the freewheel van. Always remember the tank running over his car at the end of the final episode.
Did he put a chicken on his head or a turkey? Or was that Friends? I get confused. I got very bad memory.
Yeah, I don't know. That might have happened. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I remember the busking scene.
Yeah.
When he upstaged the busker to give him the money, which was quite funny. There
were
some funny moments.
And there's one where he led an orchestra, I think, as well, didn't he? Or Christmas carols.
Yeah. And they had him back for the Olympics a couple of years ago, didn't they? He did. Have
I just talked myself into liking Mr. Bean?
Yeah, I don't know. Now, the more we're talking about it, the more I'm remembering scenes that I like. But overall, it's certainly, in terms of Rowan Atkinson's work, it's my least favourite of his stuff, I think. But that is saying something. I mean, the guy is massively talented.
Yeah, like we had Blackadder, though, didn't we?
We did have Blackadder, and if you're in the US and you haven't watched Blackadder, you really should watch Blackadder.
From seasons 2, 3, and 4.
I like season 1 as well.
Yeah,
I do. It's the black sheep.
Yeah, but
I do like it. It's a very different Blackadder that first season, but it's got some really good moments. But yeah, certainly 2 and 3 hits its stride. But not the only thing debuting this month.
Yeah, I've got a couple. Let's see if we match.
Go for it.
I've got the first TV showing on BBC of Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Yes, indeed, and in the UK, Heroes.
Yeah, and the 3rd of January. And I did a little bit of reading about this. I thought I'd do some research. Obviously, I didn't realise they cut the cartoon over here. Anytime that Michelangelo appears with nunchucks was cut when it was shown in the UK. Yeah,
do you know, it's weird. I vaguely remember that because the toys came with it, but you never saw him use them.
Yeah, so I watched...
He always had them, I think, on his belt.
Yeah.
But never actually used them.
I watched both intros this morning with both versions of Ninja and Hero to see if there's any cosmetic differences in the intro.
Yeah.
Completely different. There's like loads of like Michelangelo defending stuff with his nunchucks, swinging them around. The most you'll see in the Hero is that they're in his hand.
Yeah. That's interesting because, like, obviously I've never watched the US Ninja version, I have the hero version on
Yeah.
DVD, but I've never compared the two, so that's quite interesting.
I knew they changed the names. Like, can't be called ninjas on UK TV. You know, kids are going to welcome a ninja.
Yeah,
as well as a mutant turtle.
Yeah, we can't have our little Timmy.
Yeah.
Walking around with nunchucks. You can walk around with a katana. That's fine.
Oh yeah.
but not nunchucks. Heaven forbid.
Or a little size. What they call size?
Size.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the logic was that. No, that can't. I was going to say, I guess the logic was that you might conceivably be able to make nunchucks quite easily, but then Donatello's got a stick. So
I think that carried on there, because I remember when Soul Edge was before Soul Calibur came out, when one of the characters had nunchucks, and in England, for some reason, they added a bit of animation, so there was no chain. It looked awful. Do you remember that?
Don't remember that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've got the game somewhere upstairs.
They fixed that later on, because he definitely has nunchucks in the later like Soul Calibur game. So in Soul Edge, he's not, the nunchucks aren't connected.
And I blame the turtles for that.
You blame Michelangelo personally for that.
He was too busy eating pizza.
Yeah.
She was complaining that she'd be able to show his nunchucks.
It's interesting. You went from what was quite a, obviously, comedic to an extent, but very dark comic, to this kids show. And well, as we go through the 90s, we will get some wild stuff. I mean, like, RoboCop, Rambo, like cartoon series, from like Toxic Avenger to Toxic Crusader, like crazy stuff where we've got really violent things,
18 rated films,
just made to like kids.
PG.
So I guess in the grand scheme, this is one of the tamer ones, but it is interesting that the comic is quite violent, and then you get to this kids show. And even by like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, they don't even, the movie, they won't even use their weapons in that from memory. No. Like it all becomes very like kid centric.
Yeah, tame. I got another premiere. You probably got it as well.
So do I.
Is that what we're thinking of? You go with it.
Baywatch.
Yeah.
Baywatch debuts in the UK. I don't know if it might have come out in America prior. We got it in the UK January of 1990. Baywatch memories. I almost said Baywatch Nights. Though.
Yeah, Baywatch Nights.
That later.
That's in like 6 years' time. All the slow mo running. Hasselhoff always just Hasselhoff running across. Mm-hmm. Everyone was really attractive. Everybody. Big hair.
Yeah, like that's how we saw America though. Back in, we were just like, oh, everyone's really good looking in America.
And like, as well as what I quite liked, as well as like being a lifeguard,
he's a good family man.
He's a family man, able to solve crime. He did a bit of everything, didn't he?
I mean, he fights the paranormal in Baywatch Nights. But,
he does.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later down the line.
Hasselhoff, whatever he was in, is Mitch Buchanan, wasn't he?
Yes, Mitch Buchanan in Baywatch.
Yeah, and I think they also gave us Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, it did. That was her rise to fame.
It went on to be Pamela Anderson and various other things.
Do you know, it's weird? I rewatched Baywatch, or started watching Baywatch, and got, as I do, got distracted and never went back to it. But it is weird when you watch season 1 and you're like, oh yeah, Pam wasn't in season 1. She comes in like season 2, I think. So yeah, it's I have got really fond memories of Baywatch. Like just when it was on TV, watching it with the family. It was good times.
Saturday afternoon, wasn't it, Baywatch?
I want to say it was Saturday afternoon, and it was just one of those, like, everyone watched it, and there was some serious crime going on those beaches.
I know.
I thought people were. I thought the worst they'd have to contend with is like littering.
Yeah.
Or
someone
drunk,
something,
a little bit drunk, maybe a theft or two. But they do like drug dealing and gun crime
as well.
Gun crime, like everything. It's crazy. I thought like being a lifeguard was just swimming and saving people in the water, which they do.
Yeah, occasionally towards the end of the episode, usually.
usually by the end, they find a reason that someone needs to start drowning.
Or they end up swimming to a boat and having a fight on a boat or something. Then he has to jump back in and save the person he's just beaten up because he's a lifeguard.
yeah. You can't. Throwing them in the water is usually the way you defeat your enemies in TV shows. But when they do it, it's counterproductive because they then have to go and get them back out. Do they get paid if they do that? They maybe get paid twice.
I don't know.
Like, well, I stopped the crime. Yeah. And I saved them afterwards from drowning, so I guess I get paid twice.
True. Cracking theme tune as well.
Now that is something I would play at Danger Zone. An iconic TV theme, one of the most iconic. That always gets a reaction if you play that at a club night. Let me tell you.
I missed that. Have you got any other premieres?
No, I don't have any other premieres.
I found one. It's a film premiere. Obviously, back in the 90s.
Oh, well, if we're moving on to film, yeah.
Oh no, film on to test it.
Oh, TV movie.
It was like from the cinema to the TV.
Yeah.
So you used to have to wait about 8 years. For
Oh yeah, it was a long old wait.
Considering what this was in 1990, it was the first time we got a chance to watch A View to a Kill
on TV.
Yeah.
Great movie.
I've got a few other sort of TV memories as well for you. I got a couple of questions for you.
Go on.
Do you remember the Mary Whitehouse Experience?
I know the name, but
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It was like a comedy show in the 90s, early 90s. Came off the radio.
Okay.
It was like if you were like alternative or you were a student. It was like the anti-old comedian type program.
Oh,
and, like,
okay.
David Baddiel was on there. Rob Newman, like
all the people that are old fucks now.
Exactly. Yeah, they're all the people that moan about stuff now. That was essential TV viewing. What I also found as well, I found what was shown on the first Saturday of the year. And I'll say a few things to you. Let me know if you would have watched these. All right.
All right.
Didn't bother about the really early ones because I've never heard of them, and they're probably like on at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I left them off. So starting off with the New Adventures of Mighty Mouse.
Of course.
Is that when he sang?
It might have been, but Mighty Mouse always a favorite of mine.
Chucklevision.
Oh yeah, Chucklevision, and then later was it Zap? They did in the late 90s. So there was Chucklevision, and then I'm pretty sure
there's Chuckle Dogs as well, or Chuckle Hounds, isn't there?
I don't remember that.
I think I might have made that up. I'm pretty sure.
So Chucklevision I used to watch. I seem to remember they were part of Zap at some point. They just became like the Chuckle Brothers. You remember that show, Zap?
No, I don't know.
It was like a weird thing where it was like a comic book, and it would select people like different things, and there'd be like different like sketch show. It was like a sketch show. It was different sketches for kids, and the Chuckle Brothers were one of those. But yeah, I remember Chucklevision, of course. Then
straight into Thundercats.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
100%.
Best theme tune: Thundercats versus Turtles.
Thundercats.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
However, Turtles is a better show.
Yeah, by far.
Because Thundercats has one of the most incredible intros.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming they shipped that out to Japan to do that
animation, yeah.
Because it looks incredible. And then when you watch the show, it's like,
spent all your money on your intro.
It's not quite the same. I mean, I did love me some Thundercats, but yeah, I think in terms of theme, it beats Turtles.
Right, then we got Going Live with Philip Schofield in.
Nice.
3 hours of solid children's TV.
Yeah.
Trevor and Simon.
I think that was that the show that ended up having like X-Men the cartoon and
it would have been a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Gordon the Gopher was on there.
Oh, Gordon.
Then you'd have a bit of news. Then you get Grandstand for 5 hours of pure rubbish sports like table tennis, stuff like that. I don't know how they could last 5 hours of just like these days you wouldn't get away with stuff like that.
No.
Then after that, there's something. Do you remember the Flying Doctors? I vaguely remember.
It's like
some Australian outback doctors, isn't it? And similar to Baywatch, they'd fly everywhere to go and fix people.
It's very expensive.
Also solve crime. They'd also solve crime.
Yeah, it's not enough to save life. No, apparently.
Well, not enough to just do your job, but you got to do someone else.
Just stay in your lane.
What were the police doing in Baywatch and in Flying Doctors? Nothing.
How many people were drowning?
Yeah.
While Mitch Buchanan was
fighting
drug dealers.
I don't know. Jim will fix it.
Well, I remember it, of course, from the time. Yeah.
Good old Jim. Then we no, not good old Jim, actually.
Not good old Jim.
Bad old Jim.
Obviously. But, at the time, I have nostalgic memories of that show.
Bob's Full House with Bob Monkhouse.
Oh, Bob.
It's a game show. I can't really remember it, but it was finished by the end of the month. It was all over. And the next one, Paul Daniels' Magic Show.
Oh, I remember Paul Daniels' Magic Show. I remember my brother had one of those magic kits one Christmas. When you've got all the little tricks and stuff. Then,
part of that, do you remember? Actually, I got to tell you this real quick. Paul Daniels story, which our good friend, he would have some sort of connection to Paul Daniels. Told me this a couple of weeks ago.
Was it Paula?
No, it was he knows a lot about cards.
Because Paula was obsessed with Paul Daniels.
It's a bit of a magician.
Oh, Hoss.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he told me, he said apparently Paul Daniels had 4 different wigs, each 4 different lengths. So he did at the start of the month. He put the shortest one on.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me he was bald?
Yeah.
And he faked having hair by getting his hair longer each month?
Yeah. So he changed the wig every few weeks. Changed it until it got longer and longer. Then go to the barbers. Then come back with the new first wig again.
If that's true, I don't know if that's true or not, but I hope it is, because that is some serious thought.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That is incredible.
That's sort of the main thing. Then you got after that a bit of Dave Allen. I think he was like Actually, no, sorry. There's something called Waterfront Beat, which is some sort of drama. I don't remember that, so I skipped that.
No, I don't remember that one.
Dave Allen was like an old comedian, like probably like hated by the newer comedians.
Okay. David Baddiel was giving him shit on the other channel.
Yeah, no, David Baddiel's David Allen. Bit of Match of the Day, and there's some around that time of night after this, they'd have rubbish films on. I think there was one called...
You say they're rubbish.
I read in the synopsis, it was like there was a murder at a school and all the students had to fight the bad guy, and I was like, I can't be bothered to even put the title down. And I had a quick scan what was going on TV as well. There's some great... So in EastEnders, Frank Butcher's daughter ran away because no one wished her happy birthday.
How the times have changed.
Even though they were doing a surprise birthday for her. So
no.
Joke's on her.
There was an episode of Power Rangers where they did that.
Like,
they were doing a surprise birthday party for Zach.
Yeah.
And it was too good of a surprise, and he thought they all hated him because they weren't wishing him a happy birthday. So then he went off on his own and got beat up by putties.
Rita
kicked his ass, and then
over on Coronation Street, Deirdre chucked Ken out. He was having an affair with someone called Wendy.
Well, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Mike Baldwin was like doing something in his factory, which his factory machines were interfering with the locals' technology.
Right.
So like these days you'd be like, that would make sense, but back then we'd have been like, I can see why like something that's sewing a pair of pants is going to affect someone's TV 5 doors down.
Yep.
One of our favourite shows, as we know, Neighbours.
Oh yeah.
Harold saved someone from a fire, saved Des.
Oh, brilliant.
But then they spent the rest of the month arguing. Don't know why, even though he saved them from a fire.
Yeah, I'd probably be indebted to them for life.
Madge tried to stop Harold snoring.
This is a storyline.
It's a storyline.
This is much must-watch TV.
We're going up and up and up. Joe Mangle moved in with Mrs. Mangle. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Made it official.
Yeah. No, it was. I think he was a son or he was a lodger.
Oh, okay.
So then Mrs. Mangle, yeah. This is around about the 17th of January. She meets her old flame on the TV show. So it's obviously like it's when it was shown. 17th January meets her old flame. A few days later, he proposes. Then it's like, I want you to move back to England with me. And within 3 weeks, not only did he propose, she's had her hen party and they've got married.
Wow.
How would that happen so quick?
I don't know. Maybe things move fast.
I know Australia. It's TV, but like, and also someone called Toad was addicted to gambling machines.
Oh dear.
And in Grange Hill, I thought Grange Hill was all about like soft stuff.
No, it's not.
There was pub fights. Someone from Grange Hill had a pub fight and it affected his athletic career.
Let me tell you, I started rewatching Grange Hill a while ago.
Yeah.
Because it was on BritBox and you get access to all of that. Even those first few episodes.
Yeah,
it's like racism. It's proper like theft.
Yeah.
It doesn't mess around. I think like Degrassi in Canada.
Yeah.
Did like the kind of serious stories. I think Grange Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, you got me. Like Mr. Bronson was legend. You also there's some when someone was modelling and they were getting caught out. A dog went missing, and someone broke into an animal lab for animal testing. It was like, what's Grange Hill doing?
Do I have to wait until next month to find out if the dog gets found?
He does.
Okay, good.
He went missing.
Just wanted to know.
He went
so
missing,
what happened to the dog?
Oh, he was missing about 2 weeks worth of episodes.
Okay.
But I was looking at all the character names. They've got like someone Mauler, and they've all got really bad names. And the worst thing about it is like you go through your Wikipedia, and obviously when you have an actor's name, and you can click on it and read a bit more about them. Probably like 20 names. You could only click on 3 names, so
no,
they're obviously not acting anymore.
The lesser famed people that turned up for one episode.
They peaked.
Does the dog have a Wikipedia page we can check out?
No,
that is a shame.
I didn't remember the name.
I feel like Bouncer has one.
If Bouncer doesn't have one, I'm going to find one. I'm going to make one.
We'll get to that one day. We'll get to Bouncer's dream.
I know exactly when it is.
Do you? Don't tell me.
No,
we'll get to that naturally.
That's going to be a surprise. Yeah, that was my TV highlights.
Well, while we're talking about TV, if we're on the subject of TV, let's jump over to the US and check out some Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah. Right.
January of 1990, we have the Royal Rumble. This was one of the most... This was, like, huge.
Yeah, iconic.
This and the subsequent Mania for me. I'm sure I've told you this before. My brother, Hulk Hogan, I was Warrior. Yeah. And we both won Christmas. It might have even been this 89. It might have been 89, if not 91. We both got like framed pictures.
Wow.
My brother got Hulk Hogan. I got Warrior.
Wow.
That's how serious we were about it.
And
nobody had cable. Like
yeah.
One kid, right? So it was all watching it over one kid's house. Like,
yeah.
Months after it happened.
I remember watching it over like
you had toys. You didn't even know who half the characters
were. It's like
were.
friends of the family, like who lived across the road.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn and Bob.
Lynn and Bob.
Lynn and Bob. lovely Lynn. They're still
Cheers,
there.
Lynn. Cheers, Bob.
My mum and dad still friends with them. Like they remember they used to watch it. And like, do you want to come over and watch
Do you
it?
still go around to watch the wrestling?
No, not anymore. I remember watching the Rumble because obviously it wasn't live, so you'd watch it when it was on.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I must have like finished at 10:30. I was like, oh, school tomorrow. I'm still up at 10:30. I actually went and looked at the Rumble entrance list.
Yeah.
And it's a who's who.
It is stacked.
It is. It's like I don't know if they peaked after this, but like if you name anyone
To me, they peaked.
Yeah.
Because this is when it shortly after the couple of years after this is when they get to their lean period where it starts going downhill.
I think like so you got 30 people in it.
Yeah.
I'd say there's at least 20 people that are legends, right? Say if you don't think they're a legend, obviously $10 million Man,
Absolute legend.
Coco Beware.
Yeah, sure.
Would you say that? All right.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, my nostalgia is going to make me think they're all legends.
All right then, Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
You say he's a legend? Yeah, all right. Obviously, this one is Jake Roberts.
Yeah, of course.
Legend, yeah. Randy Savage.
Obviously.
Roddy Piper.
Yes. Is this in order?
It's in order of the entrances,
Man,
yeah.
this is a good
How
start.
stacked is that?
This
for
is
the
a
start?
solid start.
The Warlord. He was muscly, wasn't he?
I mean, he was
huge.
He was taking his vitamins. That boy.
I don't know if that was like Powers of Pain era when he wasn't quite as big, but I remember when he got big.
He was huge.
Yeah, he was pecs. Hitman.
Brett.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bad News Brown.
Oh, nice.
Dusty Rhodes.
Of course, classic. Always mistreated in the WWF.
The Common Man. Andre the Giant.
Absolute legend. Obviously, by this point, his health is failing him, but yeah, absolutely.
Got eliminated by Axe and Smash Demolition.
Damn.
So you got the Red Rooster.
Brilliant.
Yeah, who was he? Like Terry Taylor in it.
Yeah.
So then you got Axe of Demolition.
Of course.
Haku, which is a legit hardest man in the world, I reckon, or one of them.
Terrifying man.
He is even worse when he was a Meng.
Mm-hmm.
The hair made him even worse.
Yeah, the hair made him scarier, right?
Yeah.
That crazy hair.
Smash of Demolition.
Okay, so now you got Demolition teaming up.
Yeah, you got Demolition teaming up. You got Akeem, the African Dream.
You'd think they'd work that where they're like, well, we, because like every year they do the Royal Rumble, and every year they accidentally put two members of a tag team really close together so that they can team up. It's like, guys, you do this every year.
Yeah. Oh, so the luck of the draw, though, isn't it?
Of course it is.
We got to believe. So yeah, we got Akeem, the African Dream. Remember him?
Yeah.
Superfly Jimmy Snooker.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Not about his later life when we found out all those other things about him.
No. Well, when we're talking about this, it's like with Jim will fix it, and this, it's like the nostalgia of the time.
Yeah.
Granted, a lot of these people, unfortunately, have turned out to be absolute scumbags. We're talking about at the time.
Dino Bravo.
Oh,
legend.
Another. He had a real sad, tragic.
Yeah,
end,
he's like
Didn't he get like killed by gangsters or
something? Cigarette smuggling in Canada.
Yeah.
How can you go from like being arrested to that?
I don't know, man.
He was billed as the Canadian Earthquake. I loved Earthquake.
Oh, Earthquake and Typhoon.
Yeah.
They, again, like in terms of 90s wrestlers, I guess they reminded us of good old English wrestling as well.
Yeah. Jim Neidhart.
Oh, fantastic.
With that beard.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the Ultimate Warrior.
Of course.
Rick Martel, the model. He was good, wasn't he?
He was very good, actually.
Then you got Tito Santana. He was all right.
He was fine.
The Honky Tonk Man.
Oh, brilliant.
The Immortal Hulk Hogan.
I've never heard of him.
No, not there. It rings a bell somewhere. Shawn Michaels.
Some lesser-known star, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, back in the day, in 1990, no one knew.
Still in the tag team, right?
Yeah, still with the Rockers. Yeah, Mark Jannetty. The Barbarian.
Fantastic.
Rick Rude. Oh, I love Rick Rude.
Yeah, absolutely love Rick Rude.
Then you've got Hercules. He wasn't good, was he?
He was.
He had a chain.
Yeah, he was. Didn't he team up with Warlord?
No, he was with Paul Roma. They were Powers of Pain. No.
Oh yeah.
Power and Glory.
Yeah.
I need too much old wrestling shit.
No, it's good. It's useful for this particular show.
Then Mr. Perfect,
who I believe won.
No.
Did Mr. Perfect win the Rumble?
No. Well, he was meant to win the Rumble, but someone complained and they won the Rumble instead.
Oh.
Who do you think that is?
Oh god, I can probably guess.
So that obviously during the Rumble,
because the only thing that I really remember from this Rumble
is Warrior Hogan.
It
would be like, was it like the immovable object versus the irresistible force when they just bounce?
They were doing the bouncing and
they would push each other over.
You get that great moment because they're chucking everyone out left and right on opposite sides of the ring
and back into each other, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They back into each other, don't they? And then they're like, turn around. Amazing.
Yeah, I think that's
Amazing. It's hard to describe like what a massive moment that was, because they're both good guys.
Yeah, and you never got that.
I mean, history seems to indicate that they're actually probably both bad guys.
Yeah,
but in wrestling,
they were good guys.
Storyline, they were both good guys.
Yeah, ended up with like Hulk Hogan accidentally eliminating the Warrior.
It was an accident, guys.
Yeah,
just like it was an accident that I screwed over Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, I think the Barbarian and Rick Rude were trying to eliminate the Ultimate Warrior. Hulk Hogan came over to like help the Warrior. Ended up tipping all three of them over the side.
I hate it when that happens.
And then he tipped over Mr. Perfect to win it.
Well, there we go.
So back in the day, you didn't get anything for winning a Rumble.
No. It was nothing, right?
And if you noticed as well, like back then, Hulk Hogan looked older than he did when he was in WCW NWO.
It's weird, isn't it? I think losing the weight
Yeah.
made him look a bit younger.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird one.
Trying to sort his hair out as well.
I think he started wearing the bandanas after that, didn't he, to kind of hide it? That's probably why. But yeah, so I guess we'll follow wrestling through the year. Obviously, we've got a big Mania coming up. So, well, I say coming up. That's going to be ages because we're going month by month. So,
it would have been, what was it? It would have been April. It would have been April. So
it's a good couple of months away.
You won't have it. It won't be too long before you hear about us talking about one of the best WrestleManias ever. Just for that one match, really, though, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'll briefly. I don't know if you've got this. I'll briefly talk some books. Had a couple of books come out.
I'll let you go. I've not got
I'm very short. Very
go
short.
On, hit me with some books.
The Dark Half by Stephen King, which is about a guy who had a parasitic twin removed from inside his skull when he was 12. And he's become this critically acclaimed writer, like crime writer, under this pseudonym of George Stark.
Yeah.
And he goes on a murderous rampage after he gets killed off. This character gets killed off. I think that's the story. And basically, this was King's response because his own pseudonym, because he was writing a load of things under Richard Bachman. Right. His own pseudonym got found out and like made public, and this was his response to that. Was this book? I've never read it. Daddy, Danielle Steele came out this year, which obviously will be a movie next year.
Will it?
In terms of 91 becomes a movie.
It's pretty weird because I imagine Daddy back then means something completely different to when people call someone Daddy now.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't imagine she was something like "Oh, Daddy" like that, but.
And if there are any Sweet Valley High fans out there, US, because obviously we used to do a Sweet Valley podcast.
You did.
Number 61, Sweet Valley High, Boy Trouble, and the tagline is Patty's life is falling apart. Can Elizabeth help? And I haven't read it because we didn't get that far, but I'm going to go ahead and say she probably will just make it worse.
Do you reckon was Patty like a bad person then?
No, it's just that Liz should never get involved in people. She's always getting involved. You know, she's one of them.
I hate those type of people.
Yeah, everyone hates those type of people. Yeah. Want to talk about some films?
Yeah, I've got a few, which got a bit confusing whether they came out.
I had the same problem.
Yeah, so if I hit with what I've got,
go on.
A couple of memories, and let's see if add a few of yours.
Yep.
Turner and Hooch.
Makes me sad.
Why? Because the dog.
Because he dies. See, like this is why I
always. He dies
preferred...
in the film.
Yeah, because I always preferred K9. Because in K9, survives. In Turner and
He's dead
Hooch,
by now, though.
Yeah, they're all dead now. Tom Hanks is around, but
John Belushi
was in K9. Hooch, spoilers for this 1990 movie. Hooch dies in the end, but then they have puppies.
Hooch's puppies, is it?
Yeah. But it just makes me sad.
Are they as slobbery as Hooch?
Yeah, they're exactly like Hooch. That's the joke.
What was the premise? Is it like
detective and
Tom Hanks?
I think it's
someone's murdered. Someone who's been murdered is their dog.
Yeah, it's their dog.
In,
yeah, because I think with K9 from memory, he's actually like a police dog. I think just a really naughty one. Yeah. But Turner and Hooch, he's witness. He's a witness. He's interviewing him as a witness. It's like Hooch, who killed? But yeah, obviously it's a buddy cop movie where the cop teams up with the murdered person's dog.
I'm all about that. I'd probably watch that again.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
Have they remade that?
But it just makes me sad. When I googled this, there's a horrible looking TV show.
Oh, man.
At least I think it's a TV show. It looks terrible.
What's it on Netflix or?
I didn't get that far.
Right. Also sort of either out in the UK or out in America.
Yeah.
A little bit earlier, Parenthood with Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah.
Do you remember the diarrhea song is the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got reasonably fond memories of that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it will have aged, but I remember it.
Yeah. I can remember. I can remember it. One of the sons was quite bad. He thought he was going to turn into a killer or something in like a sort of dream sequence, like Steve Martin.
The joke is like it's like three guys raising kids different ways, right?
Yeah.
Is that the thing?
Yeah.
With hilarious results.
Yeah, hilarious consequences. Let's see what happens. Right. So that was that.
Mm.
Also, Mystic Pizza. Julia Roberts is in that.
Don't remember that one.
No. Apparently Matt Damon's first film. But someone reviewed it as, this isn't a very good film, but everyone in it's going to be famous one day. You'll remember them.
Right, fair enough. Was that actually a review from the time?
Yeah.
They were right.
Predicted Tremors.
The Tremors?
Yeah, according to...
It does get really confusing between US and UK when you try and look this up, because I did the same. I got Black Rain. Black Rain, Ridley Scott movie.
Yeah, I remember the poster. Because I had it written down. It's like Michael Douglas, like, biggest, like, sunglasses, trying to be like...
That's right, yeah.
He's trying to be like Stone off Cobra.
Yeah, it kind of is, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was a Ridley Scott movie, because I've never watched it. I was thinking, it's a Ridley Scott movie. It might be quite good.
I'm pretty sure in recent months... either Amazon Prime or Netflix have been pushing that movie hard. It keeps coming up in my recommendations all the time. Black Rain.
I actually read a bit about it. It's like two cops go to Japan.
Yeah, they're trying to arrest some Yakuza guy.
Yeah, which is not obviously going to end well. But
yeah, of course,
it's going to end up with him fighting a ninja.
Like, what's your jurisdiction? Just go to Japan. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they end up using his like really tame American fighting skills.
Back in the day, me and Matt were talking about this on The Movies Made Us Do It with the 50s movie. Like, police jurisdiction just apparently covers the world. Doesn't matter. Yeah. You just go where you want.
It's like Team America, isn't it?
It is like Team America, yeah.
Also, Brain Dead, apparently.
Which one?
I've got Brain Dead. Was that be Brain Dead 1?
No. I mean,
oh, right.
Because there's two Brain Dead movies, right? So are we talking the Peter Jackson Brain Dead movie?
No, I think it would be too early for that, wouldn't it?
80?
No, 90? No, 90. No. 90. Could be, yeah, could be. I just got Brain Dead.
Okay, well, either way, Brain Dead, great movie.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
I have a soft spot for it.
Yeah.
It's not a good movie. I have a soft spot for it.
I was looking at it thinking, is that the one with, who's in that? There's a really famous actor just turns up at the end with a massive chainsaw. Was that the second film?
They've both got famous people in them.
Yeah.
They went towards comedy after, quite sensibly, I think, after the first one. They were like, we can't really top that. Let's just make a comedy.
Also, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which is, I can't remember, never remember his name, which is so much research I've done. But the guy who went on to be in Mallrats and turned up in Walking Dead. We know his name. I got his face, but I can never remember his name.
Rick Grimes.
Yes, yeah. Not Rick Grimes. Have you got any other movies?
No, that's what I've got for January. Yeah. Obviously, we know 1990's gonna have some banger movies as we go through it, but right now, I think there's a lot of stuff left over from Christmas.
Yeah, it's hanging over across, isn't it?
Oh, the police are coming to arrest us now.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah, so that's what I've got for movies. Let's have a little look over at toys and games.
Oh, I love toys.
So, obviously, it's just been Christmas.
Yeah.
So we got some best-selling toys. Number one, unsurprisingly, is the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Do you remember this Batmobile? It's the Kenner one, I think. It's the one with the boot. It's got boot space.
Oh, is that the one that shoots rockets out if you press a button?
Yeah. And it's got the boot. You can. I always remember. I never owned it, but my school friend owned it. And I always remember it's got boot. It's got a boot.
Why would Batman need a boot?
I don't know. That's why I always wondered, but it was there.
He's not gonna put Robin in there, is he?
No, you can chuck the Joker in there, I guess. Yeah. Chuck his corpse in there once he's fallen off the clock tower.
Oh, yeah, we'll park it underneath if you land in it.
Yeah.
But that's. I don't know. I was thinking about this before we were doing the podcast. Might be my favorite Batmobile.
It is my favorite Batmobile.
Only the one in the first two films, though, because when they were sort of making all the weird.
I think the Returns one is probably the best one, where it's the same design basically, but they just changed like tiny bits. That Anton first Batmobile is just, and I might be biased because that's like my Batmobile. I was the right age, but I love that Batmobile so much.
But after that, then where would you go? Would you go like?
I'd go animated series Batmobile.
I was thinking animated series, then 60s TV series.
Yep.
Then Tumblr.
I don't like the Tumblr. I'd probably go for the
Batman one.
Batman v Superman one over the Tumblr. There's something about that Tumblr design that I don't.
What's
get
the Batman
on.
vs Superman one? I can't remember that one.
Oh, it's just like it looks like a radio controlled car
All right.
with a massive gun on the front
Oh,
because Zack Snyder loves killing people.
And guns work on Superman has been proven.
It's been proven. It's a proven fact. Yeah, and then probably like Forever. It's too like stupid. It started going all geekery.
Yeah.
And then Batman and Robin.
They kept giving so many curves on the back wing. Didn't they?
It just got really silly. Well, I mean, Batman's quite silly anyway. Yeah. Although I like the new one, just the car.
Yeah,
that's cool. You know. But yeah, anyway, that was our best-selling toy coming off of Christmas. Is the Kenner Batmobile, followed by, this is an expensive toy. This was a Christmas toy for sure. The Real Ghostbusters tabletop pinball.
Wow.
50, almost £60, which is £143.44 by today's money, according to this website that I used. Polly Pocket in number 3.
Yeah.
Polly Pocket was ruling the world at this point because is the new hot toy. Obviously, we will eventually. The boys will get Mighty Max.
Oh yeah.
But for right now, it's all about the girls with Polly Pocket. The Disney Snow Cone Castle. I always wanted those things when I was a kid.
Is that
like,
to make
make like
Mr. Frosty type thing?
Mr. Frosty kind of thing. Is like their version of that. I always wanted one of those things. I always wanted a Mr. Frosty as a kid. Never got one.
You can still buy them, but they're like obviously newer ones, aren't they?
Yeah, me and Paula picked one up a couple of years ago. We picked one up just to be like, hey, we've got one, and then we were like, we're gonna make Mr. Frosty, and then we made it. And we're like, it's really rubbish, but we got it. We did it. And then finally, the one toy on this list that I would buy today is the Talking Alf.
Oh wow.
£30 back then. It was quite expensive, but it's awesome. I love Alf. I have very fond memories of Alf. We had like a VHS of one of, I think it's the pilot that we had on video, and I loved that.
Do you want to explain to everyone who Alf is?
Alf is an alien, and he crash lands on Earth, and he's taken in by a family, and is a sitcom where the family have an alien living with them, an alien who wants to eat cats.
Wisecracking alien as well.
Wisecracking alien drives the family's father up the wall. I mean, like sends him probably to an early grave. To be honest with you, has a really sad ending. Alf, it's got a horrible ending.
Did he get like taken away by the government? So we're going to do a spin-off, but it never came out. So you don't know if Alf.
Yeah, they never got to it.
Yeah,
it's like dinosaurs.
Well,
it's like it's the fucking ice age now. Everyone dies.
Yeah, that's the worst ending ever. Dinosaurs.
But let's take a look at some video games as well. Have you got anything you want to say about toys?
I was 12 at Christmas. I wouldn't have had any of those. I can't remember what I had. I don't even know what I had that year.
Probably wrestling toys.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I got the Mega Drive the year after.
Now we know by the end of this year, the number one selling toy is Turtles. It's all Turtles by the end of the year. But obviously, we're just getting the debut this month, so it's a little early. Video games in the UK, Chase HQ is for home computers.
Played it in the arcade. That's the one with the old little nitro.
Yep. Yeah. I first played it on the Commodore 64. I still have it on the Commodore 64.
I always remember
it's a pale imitation of the arcade, but still a very fun game.
I always remember you've been in the arcade. It's like you think you have to ram the car in front of you.
Yeah,
and it'd be something like,
well, you'd shoot at them and ram them, right?
Yeah, it'd be like something like, push it harder, one more push, push it harder. And I'm thinking, that just sounds rude. Back then, I wouldn't realise, but now, push it harder, one more push,
one more push.
And I'm thinking, what damage did they do to the police car? They must have wrecked the police car.
Yeah, they must have wrecked those cars. But yeah, I always remember I have fond memories of Chase HQ. California Games on the Master System. Master System was pretty big in the UK for those people in the States and elsewhere that are like, Master System? It was pretty big over here. It was bigger over here than it was most places.
Yeah. Bigger than NES, wasn't it? It was bigger than
it was for a little while, I think. Yeah. Me and my brother both one year we got like an NE. I got an NES. He got a Master System. So they were neck and neck, I think.
Yeah.
And Super Mario 2.
Oh, wow.
Because although I believe Super Mario 3 was already out in the States, we don't get that until September of 1990. So Super Mario 2, big seller at the moment, obviously based on Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah.
Not actually
Mario 2.
Mario 2, which we would later get and realize
the Lost Levels?
Yeah, the Lost Levels, which is just Mario 1, but more and more difficult. Always loved Super Mario Brothers 2 though. I loved that it felt like such a step up because you got to play as all the characters and they all had different powers and abilities. Like I always remember Peach was really a good character to play because she could do the umbrella thing and glide down. Good memories of those games.
Yeah, some good games. Like I remember California Games. Going back to that, I could do
the sack thing. I was crapping.
I could do the sack thing.
Well, the kick up thing.
The hacky sack. Yeah,
I used to be rubbish at that.
And I think I could do the surfing.
Yeah, I was pretty good at the surfing.
But what else was it? Was there like a skateboard on there?
Skateboarding, or was it blading?
BMX or?
Yeah, I can't remember now. I always remember the bloody kicking up the sack thing because I was rubbish at that. Yeah. I remember the surfing. And I remember the half pipe, but I'm struggling to remember if you were on a skateboard or skates. Yeah. Either way, I wasn't very good at it. I want to say skates.
Yeah, some good games about them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and we'll get some of the big iconic ones come out later this year. So, we're not quite there yet. Have you got any final thoughts on January of 1990?
No.
No,
I just think I'd have been in the second year at school.
Mm-hmm.
I was 12. No, would have been in the third year. I wasn't 13 till year 10, year 9, whatever it would be over now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think I was probably just bimbling along.
Yeah, I would have been. I'm 5. I'm prime candidate for the Turtles.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get into all of that stuff. Born in January of 1990.
Right.
Just people called Liam. Only people called Liam. Liam Aiken.
Yeah.
Who was in Road to Perdition and Stepmom. And Liam Hemsworth, the lesser
Hemsworth brother.
The lesser Hemsworth.
He's also in the Avengers though, isn't he? Or one of the films.
Is he? Might be, I don't know.
Isn't he when they're on Valhalla? Is it Valhalla? Well, not Valhalla, wherever the gods live. And they're reenacting what happened in the previous films.
Oh,
Does he not play
is he playing his brother?
Yeah,
that's quite a nice touch. If that's
something silly like that.
And of course he was in The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Neighbours.
They were all in Neighbours, weren't they?
They were all in Neighbours, like most of famous people from Australia. I think Neighbours just is that thing, right? It's that gateway to everything. But so that is it for the January of 1990. Obviously, we will be back next month with February. I've not even looked into February yet. I'm looking forward to it. It's good fun. I'm enjoying researching this. And
I had a bit of fun. We could might even be able to I think at some point we're gonna have to catch up where we are. So we might have to do a couple of months to get them out. I don't know.
We could catch up.
We could do that.
Well, we'll see, because I guess inevitably we will probably get quiet months. And if we get quiet months, we might sandwich them together.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, for now, I was quite surprised how much happened in January.
Yeah.
I think we're going to struggle finding toys releases, which month they came out, because obviously we just had Christmas. It was very easy for me to do, Christmas 89. And there we go.
Hopefully there's some big movies we can talk about instead of talking about toys.
There are some big old movies coming up. And obviously we're going through the entirety of the 1990s. Yeah. So if we have missed anything today, the only other thing I forgot to say is that in January of 1990, the Ghostbusters did defeat Vigo.
Oh, an actual real timeline?
In the Ghostbusters timeline. Yeah. Because the movie was 89, but they defeated Vigo in January of 1990.
Yeah, he wasn't a good chap, was he?
He was rubbish. I always got creeped out by the
when he
cross
kidnapped the baby.
Used to terrify me as a kid.
Yeah.
That was one of the creepiest things as a kid. Yeah. We had the book, the Ladybird book of the film, and that page always used to scare me. Yeah, it's terrifying. Just the image of him coming across the night sky. But yes, so that was January 1990. Let us know if we missed anything.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next month.
Bye for now.
Bye bye.